Drake Maye faces his toughest test to this point of the season, and maybe the toughest test he's going to face all year with this Cleveland Browns defense. This is Locked On Patriots.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's happening? I am your host, Nick Cattles, born and raised in New England, been covering the Patriots for the past 16 years, co-host of the Greg Bedard's Patriots podcast with Nick Cattles, and also a sports talk show host veteran. On today's deep dive preview, we'll tell you why the word of the day on Sunday will be efficient. Also, we'll tell you why Harold Landry could be the most important defensive player in this matchup. But first, the Pats offense prepares for a scary defense. We appreciate you joining the show, making us your first listen, and for being an everydayer. The Locked On Patriots podcast is a proud partner of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And don't forget, on Sunday, we will go live on YouTube post-game Sunday, post-Browns Patriots. This episode is brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, Mazda sweats every detail, because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward, Mazda, Move, and Be Moved. This challenge on Sunday for Drake Maye is a next-level challenge. The Cleveland Browns, they're the best defense that the Patriots have faced this year, and I don't think it's relatively close. Cleveland's defense is third overall in the NFL to this point of the season in EPA. And we're talking about multiple challenges, but let's begin with the talent. The talent that Drake Maye is going to look at across from him on Sunday, it's pretty crazy. Now, when we talk about the Cleveland Browns defense, we always talk about Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is the guy. Myles Garrett is the man. He's one of the best defensive players in football, and all of that is true. He is devastating in the pass rush. He has this Euro step pass rush now move, which is just outrageous. I don't know if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, make it a point to see it before Sunday. It's literally a Euro step past the tackle. It's bananas. His pass rush is unbelievable. He's also very good against the run. And don't get it twisted. He's not just going to stay locked in at one position. He will face off against the left tackle, and he will face off against the right tackle. He moves around the defensive line. So Cleveland, they're not going to sit there and just let Myles Garrett be static on the D-line like some other teams and their best pass rushers. So Myles Garrett is an immediate headache. But I want to look beyond Myles Garrett, because I think as we look at this defense and we talk about how huge of a challenge it's going to be for Drake Maye, we have to understand, acknowledge, and even embrace that there are a lot of guys on this defense that can cause the Patriots, and especially the Patriots offensive line, some problems. So you've got Myles Garrett, you've got Alex Wright. Alex Wright is the defensive end opposite of Myles Garrett. Now, I didn't know much about Alex Wright, but I watched the Browns-Dolphins game from last weekend, and Alex Wright popped. He popped to me, and he is a very dangerous football player. He is very good off the edge. And then you want to talk about the interior. We know how much talent the Patriots have on the interior defensive line. Well, Cleveland and their interior defensive line, pretty darn good. Malik Collins is a beast. You want to talk about another guy who jumped off the film watching Dolphins-Browns? Malik Collins can dominate a drive. He can dominate stretches of a football game. And a guy that we talked about an awful lot before the draft was Mason Graham from Michigan. Mason Graham, of course, now with Cleveland. So you've got Malik Collins and Mason Graham in the middle of that D-line. On the edges, you've got Myles Garrett and Alex Wright. And then you get to the second level. Linebacker Carson Schwessinger is very good in coverage. And don't be surprised if you see him blitz a number of times, because Cleveland loves to use him with their pass rush, and he has been good as a pass rusher. So you look at the defensive line, then you look at Carson Schwessinger, and then you want to look at the defensive backs. Denzel Ward, Tyson Campbell, Grant Delpit, the safety. I mean, this team has a lot of talent on that side of the football. And it'd be one thing if they had talent but didn't have a scheme, didn't have a good defensive mind as their coordinator, but they do. Jim Schwartz is no joke. he will run a bunch of games on Sunday against this Patriots offensive line. He will drop his defensive linemen. He will blitz his corners. He will blitz his safeties. Simulated pressures, stunts, all sorts of games will be played on Sunday against this Patriots offensive line. And let's not forget, one of the things that Will Campbell and Jared Wilson have struggled with are stunts, are games. And you know Jim Schwartz is watching that on film. And so I would be prepared on Sunday to watch a lot of games being played, literally and figuratively, by Jim Schwartz and his defense. They're going to mess with the minds of the young left side of this offensive line. It is going to be a monumental challenge for Will Campbell and Jared Wilson on Sunday, not just because of talent that they're facing, but also the scheme and the games that they're going to face. Jim Schwartz will, again, blitz Grant Delpit. He will blitz Carson Schwetzinger. He will just blitz all sorts of guys. And he will replace players with other players on the defensive line. And Mike Vrabel said this week to the media that a Jim Schwartz defense likes to play fast. Now, it'll be interesting because Jim Schwartz was actually on Mike Vrabel's staff in both 2021 and 2022 in Tennessee. So what did Mike Vrabel gather from having Jim Schwartz on his staff? Maybe we'll find out on Sunday. Maybe he knows some of the tendencies. But this is going to be just a huge challenge. And mentally for Drake Maye, it's going to be a challenge. Understanding what he's seeing in front of him. Pre-snap, post-snap, zone, man. I mean, the Browns' defensive numbers are nuts. Looking at the defensive line, the Browns are first in the NFL in pass rush win rate. They win 56% of the time, which is crazy. The second best pass rush win rate in football is the Steelers, and we remember the trouble the Steelers represented going back a few weeks ago at Gillette. The Steelers, they win 50% of the time. 6% is a gigantic gap. And it's not just the Cleveland Browns get pressure. It's not just that they win their pass rush, but they get their pressure quickly. The Browns are number one in the NFL in time to pressure. They pressure the quarterback at 2.41 seconds. Remember, a quick pressure in the NFL is considered 2.5 seconds or less. The Browns, they're getting to the quarterback in just a shade over 2.4. Lightning quick, which means Drake Maye has to be ready, and he's got to be decisive. This is such a big challenge for Drake Maye. Myles Garrett is 8th in pass rush win rate. Malik Collins is 4th. Mason Graham is 10th. Drake Maye's pocket presence is going to be tested. We talked about it following the Tennessee game. The one nitpick I had about Drake Maye's game, and you've seen other voices and you've read other people in the space about Drake Maye taking off last weekend against Tennessee. He did not necessarily have to scramble as much as he did. His pocket presence and his pocket awareness is going to be tested heavily on Sunday. He's got to make the right decisions. Oh, and if you want to run the football, good luck. We know the Patriots haven't been able to run, and when you look at Cleveland's run defense, it's as good as the Patriots' run defense through 7 weeks. 4th best in rushing yards per game. They're 1st in run-stop win rate. They're 1st in yards per carry at 3.3. They're 1st in stuff rate. They're 1st in EPA per rush. How do you attack them? I'll tell you how you attack them. What I would expect from Josh McDaniels and Drake Maye on Sunday is a lot of quick game. A lot of getting the football out of Drake Maye's hands as fast as humanly possible. There is no time to mess around against this defense. So I think you'll see a lot of quick game. You'll see, I would imagine, a number of screens. I do think Cleveland could be vulnerable with the screen games to the wide receivers and maybe even tight ends. Miami tried it. Looked like they had some opportunities, but Tua Tagovailoa was just terrible, and the weather wasn't good. So I think you'll see a lot of quick game. You'll see some screens, and you will see Drake Maye bootleg action away from that pressure. He will try to use his athleticism. Josh McDaniels will try to use his athleticism, cut the field in half, and run those bootlegs. Evan Lazar, Patriots.com, had a point about Cleveland versus moving pockets. They've struggled some. Cleveland is allowing a plus 0.30 EPA per play, which is 24th in the NFL on designed rollouts. including chunk plays of 36, 32, 25, 20, and 15 yards in recent weeks. So they have not done great against moving pockets. Be prepared for the bootleg action. And I think the Patriots will take occasional shots downfield, not just because Drake Maye has been great, which we talked about before the Tennessee game, but as Taylor Kyles from CLNS points out, offenses have had success going vertical against the Browns, attacking corners not named Denzel Ward, who's really good. And so, they will try to attack Tyson Campbell from time to time, going deep downfield. One more interesting note. The Cleveland Browns at home, they've given up 11 points per game, but on the road, including the game in London, they've given up 29.75 points per game. This is a tremendous challenge for Josh McDaniels, Drake Maye, and the rest of this offense. All right, the Pats should have a significant advantage over the Browns offense. Find out what that advantage is next. This is Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer that you just can't miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play. I've built parlays, I've tried player props, and even followed the live lines during games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats like I do, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. You pick a bet, you put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS. That's SAD. Software as a disservice. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. With Rippling, everything from onboarding to payroll to IT access runs automatically and perfectly in sync. It's seriously simple to use and gives companies one source of truth for their people, data, and everything that they touch. And right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/LockedOnNFL. Learn more at rippling.com/LockedOnNFL. That's rippling.com/LockedOnNFL for 6 months free. Terms and conditions apply. Couple reminders. Number one, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Those thumbs up and those comments help us with the algorithm, and we're trying to get to 7,000 subs. We are so close. Hopefully we are there by Sunday for this Browns game. And speaking of the game on Sunday, I will be going live on YouTube following Browns Patriots, so you want to check that out as well. Here's the good news. I just told you about how this Cleveland Browns defense is the toughest test, the biggest challenge for Drake Maye up to this point in the season, and maybe you might even say likely the biggest test this year, simply put. Now, we'll see what happens if the Patriots get to the playoffs, yada, yada. But that's how I feel about this Cleveland Browns defense. It is a very tough test. But here's the good news. The Patriots defense will face another offensively challenged football team. And the question for me and the question for all of you should be a question that Mike Vrabel is asking every single week. Can we actually get off to a fast start defensively? Now, Craig Woodson, he was limited in practice on Thursday, but the Patriots seem pretty healthy. Not much to be said on the injury report this week. So maybe Craig Woodson misses some snaps. Maybe he's out there and ready to go. We'll see what happens there. But let's start with the defense and what the Patriots, their strength, what they can do against a Cleveland weakness. And to me, you start in the trenches. The Patriots defensive line, we know how great they've been this year, and the Cleveland offensive line has not been very good. And I'll tell you, Cleveland has a tackle problem. They've got an offensive tackle problem. Now, Jack Conklin Looks like he's going to be returning. He missed last week against Miami with a concussion. He's out of the protocol. So it looks like he's going to return. He is the Browns' right tackle. But there are problems for this Cleveland offensive line. In pass protection, the Browns have given up the third worst pressure rate in football. So if you're Harold Landry, if you're Kayvon Chason, Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, even Kyrie's Tonga, go to work. They should be able to work this offensive line and get a lot of good results, especially off the edge. Not only have the Browns given up the third worst pressure rate, they are 29th in ESPN's pass block win rate, one of the worst pass protecting offensive lines in the NFL, and they are 20th in the league in time to pressure. So you should be able to pressure Dillon Gabriel. You should be able to disrupt him. Mike Vrabel loves the word disruption. You should be able to disrupt this Cleveland offense on Sunday. Speaking of Dillon Gabriel, he's only had 3 starts at the NFL level. Watching him against Miami, I would say nothing special, nothing elite about him. He's not a very big guy. His arm strength's, I guess, fine. But there's nothing that watching him stands out when you go, oh, that could be a big problem for the Patriots. The Patriots defense will not be able to handle X. I don't see it with Dillon Gabriel. Not to say he won't be a good quarterback. Maybe he'll end up being a good quarterback, but he will be a good quarterback in the NFL based off of intangibles and decision-making and those types of things. We're not talking about an elite physical presence or elite traits. And he really hasn't tested defenses deep very often. Ben Fennell, who is with the NFL on CBS and the NFL on Prime, he's a producer for them. He posted this week completion percentage on passes that are 10-plus air yards. There are 34 quarterbacks who qualify. Completion percentage, 10-plus air yards. 34 qualified quarterbacks. You want to guess where Dillon Gabriel is? 34th. Dillon Gabriel's completion percentage on passes that are 10 or more air yards is 34.5%, which begs the question, will the Patriots play more man coverage? When you're looking at the Cleveland Browns offense, you're looking at Jerry Jeudy and pretty much a number of unproven cats. They don't have a ton of talent at wide receiver. And you got a quarterback who doesn't test defenses deep, and when he's thrown beyond 10 yards, he has been the most inaccurate quarterback in the NFL. Under 35% is that completion percentage. So maybe the Patriots do play more man coverage. The number one priority for the Patriots defense, and this is going to sound like I'm a broken record, but it's because they're facing a lot of teams that don't have a ton of weapons at wide receiver, that have some question marks at quarterback or young quarterbacks. The number one priority for the Patriots defense is to limit Quinshon Judkins. They have to limit Quinshon Judkins. Judkins is really most of this offense. He's third in the NFL in rushing yards over expected. So he gets a lot of yardage that he shouldn't be getting. He does show some speed. He shows some burst to the second level of the defense and even get to the third level. The other thing about Quinshon Judkins is that he is third in the NFL in yards after contact. So he's tough to bring down. He's got tremendous contact balance, which means if you're the Patriots defense, 2 words, wrap up. You've got to be able to wrap up Quinshon Judkins if you want to slow down this run game. Here's the good news. Andrew Callahan posted this week, the Patriots have missed a total of 5 tackles the last 2 weeks. Remember, the first 2 or 3 weeks of the year, one of the biggest issues for the Patriots, and one of the reasons why they were giving up so many big plays, chunk plays, was because of missed tackles. Specifically, Christian Ellis and Robert Spillane got off to a terrible start the first couple weeks, missing tackles. That has changed. The Patriots have missed a grand total of 5 tackles the last 2 weeks. That is from Andrew Callahan, who got those numbers from Pro Football Focus. So wrap up Quinshon Judkins. Put this game on Dillon Gabriel. Don't give him anything short. Make it tough in the intermediate. And see what happens. The Patriots, I do think they should limit, if not stop the run, if their linebackers and their defensive backs tackle well. You know, the Browns offensive line, they've given up the 5th highest stuff rate in the NFL. They're 32nd. This Cleveland run game is 32nd in success rate, worse than the Patriots. They're 32nd in rushing yards before contact per attempt. So again, that goes back to the yards after contact from Quinshon Judkins. It's not because the offensive line is getting this major push, carry in and carry out. Now, I will say the Browns have faced the most stacked boxes in the NFL. They're first in opponent stacked box rate. And that's because I would imagine that teams are looking at this and saying, okay, we are going to dare Dillon Gabriel to beat us. We are not going to let Quinshon Judkins run for 200 yards. We're not going to let that happen. And one more thing to keep in mind, Taylor Kyles does a great job for CLNS. He noted this week that most of the explosive runs from Quinshon Judkins go to the right side of the offense. Here's the good news. Harold Landry is going to be over there, and Harold Landry is the better run defender on the edges, much better. Now maybe Cleveland changes this up and they go left more and they try to, go after. They try to go after K'Lavon Chaisson in the run game. Offenses have done that. But the Patriots should be able to do a decent job, if not really good job, against the run. They've done it all year. They haven't given up a 50-yard rusher all season. Only team in the NFL that has done that. And they should force this game to be all about Dillon Gabriel. All right, adjustments, kitchen sinks, and our prediction for Sunday is coming up next as we continue with today's episode of Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you by Mazda's, moving the game forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, they move culture, and keep moving the game forward. And this week's moment that moved the game forward is K'Lavon Chaisson's scoop and score versus Cam Ward in Tennessee. On the very first offensive possession for Tennessee in the third quarter, Chaisson got a pressure on Ward, causing the quarterback to backpedal and fumble the football, which Chaisson picked up and scored for the New England defense. That touchdown and the following extra point made it a 3-possession game at 31-13 and pretty much ended the day. Chaisson ended up being awarded AFC Defensive Player of the Week, finishing with 3 tackles, 2 sacks, and that touchdown, which was Chaisson's first career score. Chaisson kept the team moving, effectively closing the book on their 4th straight win with his huge performance. And when you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Mike Vrabel and this defensive staff, they've done one thing that's been really good, and that's adjustments. Their adjustments in-game have been incredibly impressive. We talk about the slow starts, and I've got the numbers for you, folks, thanks to Evan Lazar. When you look at the first 3 drives of games against this Patriots defense and you compare it to the rest of the game, it's not even close. It's night and day. First 3 drives against the Patriots defense this year, the Patriots are 30th in EPA per play. The rest of the game, after 3 drives, the Patriots are 3rd in EPA per play, from 30th to 3rd in success rate. The first 3 drives for offenses against the Patriots defense, the Patriots' success rate defensively is 32nd. Dead last in the NFL. But when you look at the rest of the game, after the first 3 drives, the Patriots are 10th in success rate. Again, not even close. You want to talk about the explosive plays. Season began with explosive play after explosive play against the Raiders. In the first 3 drives of the game, the Patriots defense are 30th in explosive play rate. The rest of the game, they're 8th. They're 8th in explosive play rate. We're talking about Jekyll and Hyde. And so will this defense this weekend finally get off to a fast start? Because if they do, they should be able to mostly shut down this Cleveland Browns offense unless the Patriots offense turns the football over, they give up short fields, they give up defensive touchdowns, or special teams gets broken apart. If the Patriots start off fast and they continue to play as well as they've played after the first 3 drives, then they should be able to limit Cleveland all day long. Now, Kevin Stefanski, he is going to throw the kitchen sink at the Patriots defense. He's going to get a little bit wild with formations. He will throw everything at this defense. You will see the regular shotgun. You'll see under center. You'll see under center with I formation. You'll see jumbo sets with 6 offensive linemen, 7 offensive linemen. You will see bootleg action from Dillon Gabriel, old West Coast. Don't forget Kevin Stefanski from that West Coast tree. So you'll see play action and bootlegs off the play action. You will see trips to the right. You will see trips to the left with their receivers. You'll even see some wildcat maybe. They had 2 or 3 snaps against Miami last weekend of wildcat with Quinshon Judkins. So Kevin Stefanski is not afraid. We talked about Jim Schwartz earlier of spinning the dial and attacking offenses with all sorts of different looks and games up front. Kevin Stefanski, he'll mess around. He'll mess around with you. And so that means the Patriots defense has to be disciplined. They've got to be disciplined, especially on the second and third levels. Don't get caught up in the formations. Don't get caught up in some of the pre-snap motions, some of the window dressing, as we say. Stay disciplined. Keep your eyes disciplined. Now, the jumbo package against Miami that I saw didn't work out. So I don't know how often they'll go jumbo against this Patriots defense, because it felt like every time they went jumbo, they ran for a loss. And I will say Kevin Stefanski, and this happens to a lot of coordinators, they kind of fall in love with the formations and the looks. And sometimes Kevin Stefanski can get a little bit too cute, and that could backfire. Now, for the Patriots, one more note about the offense. Don't expect tons of big play opportunities. And because of that, it means efficiency. Efficiency on the offensive side is crucial. And Kevin Cole from Unexpected Points, he posted, with Sam Darnold struggling a bit on Monday Night Football, we have a new quarterback efficiency EPA per play leader, and that is Drake Maye. Drake Maye is number 1 in the entire NFL in quarterback efficiency, EPA per play, at plus 0.35. Dillon Gabriel is 28th in the NFL in EPA per play at a minus 0.04. So if you're looking at a game that's not going to have a ton of explosive plays, it's going to come down to playing efficiently. And Drake Maye has been much better than Dillon Gabriel in that category. As a matter of fact, I just quote tweeted at Nick C Radio another set from Football Insights. And if you look at it, Drake Maye, EPA per play, he is top 5 in the NFL against zone coverage, and he is the best quarterback in the NFL, EPA per play, against man coverage. Drake Maye just has to remember one thing. Don't try to do too much. Don't try to do too much. I don't think the run game is going to get popping this weekend. Maybe I'm wrong. Mike Vrabel said this week to the media, if you get 8 yards against this defense, that's a long run because their safeties do a great job of coming up and tackling. So you've got to be efficient with your offense. Drake Maye's got to be passing the test mentally. He's got to have great pocket presence and awareness. If he scrambles, he's got to get down. He's got to remain a passer when he's extending plays. He has to be efficient. In overall, big picture, take care of the football. The Cleveland Browns took advantage of Miami's turnovers last weekend. They had a defensive score. They also got a turnover at like the 2-yard line, which they quickly plowed in. They got 14 points off Miami turnovers quickly. And if you're looking at turnover differential, Cleveland's neutral. They're at 0 through 7 weeks. The Patriots are actually a +2 in turnover differential. In 5 of their 7 giveaways were in that Pittsburgh game. So you got the 5 giveaways against Pittsburgh. The other 6 games this year so far, you've had 2 giveaways. Take care of the football. Don't make it easy for that Cleveland offense. And obviously, because you're going against a Cleveland defense that's so good, creating a couple of turnovers would be gigantic in this game. All right, here's my prediction. I'm getting ready for a fist fight in a phone booth. This game could be ugly. Both defenses could be very, very tough. But I give the Patriots the edge. And I give the Patriots the edge because I believe they have the better head coach. I know they've got the better quarterback. And they're playing at home. They've got home cooking at Gillette Stadium. But I think this could be very tough. And 1 or 2 turnovers can change this game dramatically. But right now I've got New England 20, Cleveland, let's say 13. Now, again, turnovers can change that, but I think this is going to be a little bit of a fist fight in a phone booth type game where you're fighting for every single yard if you're the Patriots offense. And this is one of those games where, all right, if your offense can't score 24, 27, 30 points, it's going to be up to your defense. And I think it would be a nice thing to see this Patriots defense win a game from beginning to end. I would love to see it. But I've got the Patriots, and I would not be surprised if it's tighter than a touchdown because of everything we've talked about. All right, that wraps up this edition of Locked On Patriots. Thank you for making us your first listen and for being an everydayer. Reach out to me on Twitter at NickCRadio. Don't forget to throw a comment in on the YouTube channel. Hit that like button and subscribe. Don't forget we go live on Sunday following Browns Patriots. And for your second listen, get a double dose of Locked On NFL podcast with Tyler the Madman Rowland and Tony Wiggins. Find Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Have a great weekend, and we will see you for the live post game on Sunday.